Hey Latoya, it's Heather Harvey from class. I decided to go ahead and do my video on your discussion board. I had a good time reading over it. I kind of just wanted to respond to a few things that you wrote. I would love to know more about what you're wanting to do your dissertation on. I know you kind of had talked about it a couple of times in the discussion board, so I was interested to see if you kind of already chosen a topic or chosen kind of what you want to look at or measure. I'm guessing that you're leaning towards the qualitative because when you were talking about this type of worldview, it directs you towards a qualitative research study. One of the couple of things from the textbook that I liked when you're describing that constructivism, kind of framework is the goal is to rely as much as possible on the participants' views of the situation, rather than starting with a theory, kind of like you said, as in positivism, that's going to be grounded in a theory. Rather than starting with a theory, inquirers generate or inductively develop a theory or pattern of meaning. I really like kind of that paragraph below that talks about the more open-ended questioning, the better, as the researcher listens carefully to what people say or do in their life setting. You talked kind of in your discussion board about experiences. I completely understand and agree that, kind of those experiences lead you towards what your normal is. Anytime I'm with a client and I use the word normal or norm, I say it in quotations. So I love that you kind of have it in quotations in your paragraph, in the discussion board. Those experiences lead you to your normal. That normal is your perspective. So everybody has their own definition of normal, and every client is different. I love the environment that you work in. I know they're very blessed to get to talk to you, and you're working in that urban environment. One of the statements you kind of talked about was that positive worldview grounds data in theory. I know you said you believe that research does not always need to be grounded in theory. I would be interested to know kind of if you're not thinking that it's grounded in theory, what kind of would you say it's grounded in? Um, Also, I was kind of looking over some research articles, kind of when I did my discussion board. And one of the statements that they kind of made when you're looking at researching researcher researched relationships in qualitative research, I read an article that talks about their shifts and positions and researcher, vulnerability. It kind of, in the beginning stages, was talking about it is argued that defining what knowledge is to count in a concrete researcher researched encounter is not necessarily the sole privilege of the researcher because participants bring their own agenda to the research situation. I kind of liked that part of the paragraph because it kind of reminded me of what you were talking about, their experiences. It brings more, into the research study, and you're going to kind of have your own view of the research study. They're going to have their experiences that they're getting to tell you about. And qualitative data is so open-ended. I have specifically worked a lot with quantitative data. So I'm excited to learn more this semester. I'm excited to learn how to interpret qualitative data because you've got more data, more openness, more just hearing the experience rather than just that measure 1 to 10, like a Likert scale, or measure, a questionnaire on something. You're going to find out more detail. I am excited to get to know you and excited to be in class with you this semester. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks.